Hey guys, I'm just going to give it a couple minutes, maybe a minute or two to get everyone in, and then we'll get started. My name's Nick, and I'm going to show you this, all the live stream stuff, but let's just give everyone a minute or two to get on the stream. I'll give it another 30 seconds and then we'll get started. Hi, well, welcome. I'm very excited to be able to share this information with you. Again, if you're just joining, my name is Nick Kulik. I've been live streaming swim meets since about 2020. When the club team I worked for, Occoquan Swimming, came out of COVID, and we started off just pointing a laptop webcam out this window here onto the pool deck, and we've made a lot of changes and a lot of upgrades over the past few years, so I'd like to help you sort of jumpstart that process. And I know in order for a live stream to be worthwhile, the parents have to be able to see their swimmers. Maybe the swimmers want to watch the races after. I certainly have a lot of athletes that like to do that. And people want to see times and see all kinds of graphics. So I'm going to show you that process, and hopefully some of the things that I've learned to make the process much easier and remove that learning curve so you can just kind of start a lot further ahead than I was. So we're going to cover a couple of things. We're going to cover the equipment, we're going to cover the graphics, which I think a lot of people are going to probably be most interested in, and then we'll cover some of the logistics of how this sort of operates during a swim meet, okay? Now, at any time during this conversation, if you want to ask a question, I think I've enabled the YouTube chat for that, so you can just go ahead and leave a comment there. I think there's about a minute delay on this, so just give me a second to read it. I'll check it periodically, but give me a second to answer as we go along. And finally, other contact information. My company is Neon, that's based in Virginia. The website is somewhere right there, and that's neoninnovation.com. You can see more stuff about live streaming there. You can sign up for a newsletter, or you can email me, nlkulik@neoninnovation.com. I will put that, I should have put it in here, but I will put that in the description as soon as this is over. Or you can just email support@neoninnovation.com. That goes to me too. So if you're watching this recorded, that's how you can do this. So let's get into this. A couple of things. So people have sort of wondered how this works. In simple terms, we have a camera, maybe something like this. I'll talk more about specific equipment later, but we'll have a camera and we'll connect it using some sort of cable where the video feed will eventually get to a Windows computer, and that's running the graphics software called Streamline. And on top of that, it runs a few other things called OBS. I'm going to show you all of this in the screen recording, but all of that is fed in. We have our camera feed, we have our graphics, and you'll see here that I'm sitting in front of a System 6. This process, this method of graphics with Streamline will work with just about any of the major timing systems, all of the major timing systems in fact, and that data is also fed into the computer. So to recap, we have our video feed from one or more cameras. We have our timing data coming from the timing console, and then we have our laptop, which is going to run the software that sort of combines everything together and sends that out onto the internet. And once we've started streaming, everything can be done automatically. The graphics can be generated automatically, and the scene switching can occur also fully automatically. So, let's go ahead and talk about cameras here real quick. My preferred method that I think makes it easiest is to use a camera like this. This is made by a company called Ada. This is one of the cameras that I've used for a long time, and they have many different models now. But what's great about this is your video feed, your audio feed, the camera control, and the power all goes through Ethernet. So if you're familiar with how a lot of security cameras work, you plug in one cable to those, and they're powered, and all the video goes through it, and you can control them. Well, this is really nice. It's the same thing. It makes it easier to install. We have our own facility where we have a sort of permanent setup, but oftentimes we do bigger meets, and most of our meets are done outside this facility, which means I have to set things up and take them down, and to only have to run one cable is really a game changer. So this is a great little camera. The video quality is amazing. And the way this will work is you'll plug in your Ethernet cable, and Ethernet cables can be very long. It's just your internet cable that you would plug into a computer. That goes into the back. And then it'll go into an Ethernet switch like this. And you can buy all kinds of different kind again. Reach out to me if you want specific model numbers and all of that. But these, you can buy a switch, an Ethernet switch that powers the cameras. Not all of them do it, but there's a lot of them that do. And it can supply power to the camera, so you're, again, running power and data all over that one cable. And so we'll plug in the cameras, we'll plug in the computer and internet, and then we're good to go, okay? So I want to show you a couple examples here so you can have a better idea of what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to switch over to my screen here. Here we go. And let's see, where do we want to start? Let's start with this one, okay? So this is going to be an example of a short course race. So we're going to have a camera that's pointed at the start. We have our start graphics, and I'm just going to let this run. It's a 50 brush, so it'll be pretty quick. It might be a little bit choppy over the live stream here. I can assure you that the video is smooth and when you watch it off of YouTube, but since we're watching it over a stream, it might be a little slower. So here we go. We sort of have our graphics. We have a scoreboard there in the bottom left. We have the running time. It would show splits if this was longer than a 50, just like your typical race scoreboard at a meet. Alright, so this is just, we're going to watch this race here, and as they come into the finish, it's going to switch back to that start finish camera, and it's going to show all the finish graphics, and you'll see everyone come in for the finish there with all their times. So that's a short course race. You have two cameras, one on the start, one on the pole. And you'll see here, I'll just let it roll a bit. You're going to see how whenever we go to the next event, it's going to roll over and show the graphics for the next heat. The timer forgot to switch it on this one, unfortunately. Oh, okay, even if they make a mistake, it's going to... So, just to reiterate what happened here, the electronic timing system operator forgot to switch over to the next heat, but as soon as they did, Streamline figured out where in the heat it was, and basically switch to the right camera. So it's pretty good at figuring out issues if something happens at a meet and sort of correcting itself. So that's the first example. Now you might be wondering, yes, AIDA cameras, AIDA. I have a couple of those actually in stock if you want to reach out to me, that I'm selling at a discount. Now you might be wondering if we back up here and look at these finished graphics, you know, this is great for a short race, but if it's a long race and someone is still swimming like a 500 and the first person laps the other people, well, you're cutting them off and you can't see the full race. Well, with Streamline, you can actually end up showing, you can show the finish in the wide view, and you can specify the race distance for that. So here we can see they're swimming the mile, a couple guys finished ahead of everyone else, and we can still see the entire race. This is a different graphics. There's all sorts of different graphics too, by the way. You can see that the graphics colors here and everything is a little bit different. All sorts of different things you can choose from. All right, so that's short course. Let's look at long course here. Now in long course, we have a lot of pool to cover, and you can do it with 3 cameras, where you have one on each end, start end and turn end, and one in the middle. My preference, and the way that I would highly recommend it if you're going to make this kind of investment to make it as good as possible, is having 4 cameras. So you have one on each end and 2 in the middle. So I'll just let this roll. Let's see if our internet goes here. Yep. All right, so I'm just going to let this roll. And what this is going to do is it's going to follow the swimmers down the pool. We can just watch this for a second. Again, the video quality is better when you watch it on YouTube. This is actually a 4K video, but since we're playing a YouTube video through a live stream, the quality is going to be a little degraded. So, follows them down the pool. Splits pop up as they're swimming. It's a little bit of a different animation. And then it follows them back up the pool. So, that is the basics of what we're looking at here. That's what you're able to do, and all of what you just saw there is fully automatic. Once you set it up, and by the way, I coach at the meet. I was actually coaching some of the athletes in that video, and I was on the pool deck coaching them, not running the live stream. So it is a fully automatic process. It looks at the timing data, and it's able to figure out when it should switch camera angles, what camera angle it should be at, and stuff like that. So I think one of the things that I should have showed you earlier, I'm just going to run over here and grab it, is how we connect the timing system to the computer. So every timing system is different, and so there's nuances with each of them. I have the older System 6 here, and the way that works is it has this cable, and some of the cables are different and have slightly different costs to them. But for those of you familiar, this is our scoreboard output for the System 6. And we're going to just Y-split it here. So if you have a scoreboard already connected, I'm sure most of you do, you'll plug in to your System 6 scoreboard jack here. You'll still have a female outlet so that you can power your scoreboard like we have at our facility here. Okay? And the other end of the Y-split is basically just duplicating the data is a USB. So we have a couple adapters here, goes to USB. This is a custom made cable, and it goes to USB. And so this custom cable actually gives the streaming computer its special USB copy of the scoreboard data, and it also still allows you to feed your scoreboard data back to your scoreboard, so you don't lose any functionality. So it's pretty nice. I'll show you a couple of examples here, if I can just switch over to this. Yeah, there we go. Well, we'll start with this picture. So this is another thing you can do with Streamline is we actually on our pool deck at our facility that I'm at right now, we have a TV set up. We have a scoreboard on the far side that likes to break down all the time. And then we have a TV on the other side where we also show for the swimmers on the other side, they can see their times there, and it shows a little more information than our typical scoreboard. And this feed that you see coming out of the scoreboard or going on to the TV right here, this is actually coming from Streamline. So Streamline not only can generate your live broadcast graphics for your live stream, but if you have a TV or a video board or something, and you want to show something a little more advanced, Streamline can generate another set of graphics for you to show locally, and it's really nice. There's several customers that like to do that. Here's another picture of it. You can see in the picture here, here's our cameras. So I'm actually up here in this room right now, and we have our cameras that point onto the pool deck. This is our sort of permanent installation. And again, I use one cable, power, data, everything, super nice. Here's another picture. This is before we put the TV up, but you can kind of see what that looks like. Two cameras, one on the pool, one on the start, and a microphone there to capture audio. Got a question for long course chase starts. So just like when you do regular long course chase starts, you need two timing systems. You would also need sort of two live streams, one going one way and one going the other. Now, with some cameras, you would basically need two of everything on the live stream, but in fact, with some cameras like these AIDA cameras, it is actually possible that you could just use the 4 cameras and have your 4 angles, and you can connect 2 computers to it and see the exact same video feed on both. Not all cameras allow that. It's very specific. Some of them, as soon as you connect, like this camera here, this is a Panasonic one. This is a 4K, really expensive, but great video quality. If I connect one computer to it, I can't connect another. So for chase starts, this would not be ideal, although this is probably the best video quality you're going to get with reasonable ease of use and reasonable setup times. Although most people wouldn't even notice the difference between that and the AIDA. So if you have questions specifically about chase starts, just reach out and I can help get that specific thing set up. But it is slightly more sophisticated. And by the way, it's the same for long course. If you do dual course, 2 pools, 2 end, whatever you call it, you need two setups there, 2 cameras on each short course pool, 2 live streams. You could actually run 2 instances of Streamline off of 1 laptop. Now, I want to not ramble on this too much. I want to go ahead and show you a demo of how Streamline works. So let's go back here. Here's my computer. I'm going to pull up what's called OBS. This is Open Broadcaster software. It's free software. You can download it. And you can pull in all your camera feeds here. Now, instead of using a live camera feed, because we have swimmers swimming in the pool behind me right now, and I don't want to put them on the video, I just took a screenshot of our camera feeds. So I have the start camera, I have the pool camera. This is how they would look. And then there's that scoreboard that we talked about. That goes on the TV. And then you also have an intermission scene, which we can talk about a little later if someone's interested. Let me show you a demo of how this works. So here's our feed, and let me just go ahead and let's go to let's go to event 5 here. Let's see if this comes up. There we go. All right, so we've gone to event 5. You can imagine a whole bunch of people are at this swim meet and stuff is happening. Let's say we start this now. So I'm going to start the system 6. Timer's running. This is all live right now. And then there's our scoreboard and the clock's running. Now we have no one to hit touchpads or anything like that, so I'm just going to, shouldn't have hit that button. Just going to go ahead and do a reset here and bring that back to where we were. Okay. We're in finals mode right now, so it says event 5, B final. Otherwise it would just say heat 1, heat 2, but in this case heat 1 is the B final, so I'm just using that as an example. Now, let's look at the Streamline controls. I know some of you who are watching this have probably looked at Streamline in the past, maybe have used it. Over the past year or so, there's been like major updates to this thing to make it a lot more useful and just way easier to use. Let's take a look at this. So let's actually start in this calibration panel here. And this is where we go ahead, I'm going to change the zoom level right here. This is where we go ahead and line up our graphics. This is a lot of where the magic happens, so we have those really nice overlays. I'll go ahead and do a reset here. And then it's as simple as just sort of dragging down like this. Yeah, something like that. Now, if I wanted, I could spend a whole bunch of time getting this right, which I will do whenever this stream ends. But you can zoom in and really lock this thing in. I can adjust each lane a little bit, stuff like that. But I'm not going to bore you with all of that right now. That's how it works, though. And then this is the pool scene. So when we do our wide angle start and finishes, this is where I would do the calibration as well. I've already done it and locked in my graphics. So I have the long finished graphics here. And over on the other side, we run 25. So we start 25s from the far end. And so we actually have graphics on the other side that appear on the start of 25s on the far end. And then we have all sorts of settings here. So this is where we're going to tell it how many lanes we use, what order the lanes are in, and when I change this, it changes the number of the lanes. So really helpful in terms of knowing how things are set up. All sorts of different graphics, which is another thing you might notice. Let's take a look at this. You can see team logos for each of our swimmers' teams. So you can import logos for each team as well. Let's see if we have anything in chat. Ever had a camera handheld? I have not done a handheld camera at deck level. I, at some point, actually would like to do an underwater camera, which is something that Streamline does support. You can have underwater cameras in there as well. So there's the demo of how that works. Now, there is an intermission scene, so one of the things is if you take a break in your meet, you can set up a scene right here. I've called it intermission. If there's they might do a couple of events and then have a 10-minute break or something. Well, we can set a scene that your live stream will show whenever we want to take that break. And so all we have to do to go to that scene is go to event 999, and then we'll just show our intermission scene. and then that can just show up while they're doing their break or whatever. And if we want to go back, we can go back and let's say they're starting at event 6. Now we're back at event 6. And all I'm doing is changing the timing console event just like the electronic timing operator would. I'm not touching the live stream computer at all right now. So that's the basic setup. Now, if I wasn't already live streaming, what I could do once I've got everything the way I like it is go right here and click Start Streaming. And in my settings page here, that's where I would just tell it where I want to stream to. You can go to all sorts of different stream locations, all over. All the big ones are supported. If you use it to live stream, it's probably there. And once I've put in my login information for whatever streaming site, I would just click Start Streaming. But I'm live streaming right now to show you all what's going on, so I'm not going to click that button at the moment. And one feature I really like, because our internet at this facility is not the most reliable, is I can also click Start Recording and save a recording to the computer's hard drive. So if the internet went down, there's still a copy that I can upload later, so all the parents can watch it, which is super important. Our facility is very small, and we can't really have almost any spectators for a meeting. So those are the basics of how this works. Big logo on the last scene. So I'll describe this real quick. The way that this works right here is we have our scene, and that scene is sort of like, it's sort of like the camera angle. And so we have our start camera angle, we have our pull camera angle, we'll call it the scoreboard camera angle, and then within that, each scene we have different sources. And so we can sort of pile different things on top of it. And so right here, we've got our logo, we've got our pull camera, and so I'll just show you how you add something. You can add an image. If I wanted, I could add text. So since I didn't do this earlier, something like that. And there it is. Probably don't want to put it in the stream like that, but you've got all sorts of things there, colors, that color doesn't work real well. I can go red, whatever it is, okay. That's probably not that great either, but you get the idea. Okay, so you can add all sorts of different things. I actually really, one of the things that I've had a lot of fun with in the past is since Lawn Course has 4 cameras, my Lawn Course intermission scene is actually a quad box of all 4 cameras, which is just sort of a fun little thing I do. Okay. So those are the basics of how this works. Hopefully that makes sense. And again, all this camera switching is automatic. Whenever I start this, you'll see we're on the start scene now. Whenever I start this, I'm going to take my hands off the computer. It's going to highlight the pull scene and switch to that on its own, and that's using the Streamline software. And you might notice we have a little thing here called Streamline, and those are the graphics. We just put the graphics right on top of it. So those are the basics of how it works. Let's see if we have any more questions. How did I link the scoreboard scene from Streamline? I think I know what you're asking. You can add a scene by hitting the plus button there, and I could add a new scene, call it scene 2. And then I can hit the plus button. Streamline's a browser source, and you can add a URL, which actually gives you the scoreboard graphic. Let's see. I hope OBS is showing up here. Yeah. So you can add a scoreboard graphic, but basically browser, And there's a URL for the scoreboard, and you put that in, and then it's there, and I can just maximize that to whatever it needs to be. So that's how that works. And then I'll do things like I'll send it to a display. I don't have another display connected, but that's kind of the workflow for that. Again, if you decide that you want to get Streamline, reach out. I can hook you up with the software, and then I'll give you all the information about the actual specific URLs and specific workflows and stuff like that for whatever setup you want to have. But that's pretty much the basic overview. I'll just go with that. How much is the software? Well, thank you for asking. I haven't mentioned that yet. Actually, the software is $3,000. It's a significant investment. However, that is a one-time fee. There is no monthly cost for that. There is no cost for pretty much any of the major software updates to this point. So you're paying one time for that $3,000. And that also not only gives you swimming for long course and short course, but that also gives you water polo and diving. You can do all of that as well. I wish I could demo that for you, but that's not something that we do at this facility. So if you are interested in diving or water polo though, just send me an email. Support at Neon Innovation, NLKulik at neoninnovation.com. Send me an email, and I'll send you video links with demos of different things. Or if you go to neoninnovation.com, there's videos there that demo all of that stuff as well. So you can use all sorts of different things there. But that's the bottom line. And that not only gives you the swimming, the diving, the water polo, that also gives you that scoreboard graphic that we showed, so you can map that really nice looking scoreboard onto a big screen TV or something else in your facility, because I know a lot of facilities have a broken scoreboard. So it kind of helps to have, or their display link computer or whatever doesn't connect with the timing system. So lots of different options there. Was the setup to show the scoreboard on screens on deck? Well, once we have our scoreboard scene here, the way that I do it, there's a few ways you can do it, but the way that I would do it is I plug in an HDMI cable to this laptop, which goes to the TV on deck, and then I just, I go here and I say full screen projector. Hold on. No. Let me show you. This is a lot more helpful if I do it this way. Once I have my scoreboard scene set up here, I just right click it, and I go ahead and if this were the TV and I hit that, then it would show the TV, it would show the scoreboard full screen on the TV. You also have records on your scoreboard as well. You can show record breakers and all of that. There are actually more advanced graphics I haven't shown yet, but you can show records on there. Streamline can automatically pull your data from your Meet Manager database. It can pull your records, it can pull your seat times, it can pull the swimmer names. So if you have an older timing system and you might be familiar with having to upload names files to the scoreboard computer all the time, and if you don't, then there's no names on your scoreboard. Well, Streamline, really nice feature that was added a couple months ago. Streamline can automatically just pull that data over the network if you have the multi-user mode. And I can show you that here actually. I'm in this additional piece of software for Streamline, and what I've done is I've gone into browse for my Meet Manager database, and it pulls in all the names, all the records, everything. So I really don't have to touch this at all, even when a swim meet is reseeded, or it's prelims finals, or they're seeding constantly throughout the session, because it's deck seated. As soon as that data is in Meet Manager, it's automatically updated in Streamline. So I think that's all I've got. Do we have any other questions? Well, I can show you the advanced features right now. So let's go through that. It's advanced, but it's actually real simple. So if we go and look at the settings things here, I'll show you a couple of things. We have our, let me make sure I'm on the right, yeah, you all can see my screen, good. This is the scoreboard configuration here. That's for the scoreboard that I would show on Get, the local scoreboard, if I wanted to do that. All right, up here, so if I start at the top, this is where I'm setting up, let's see. I'll just run through this whole thing actually. This is the full settings page. Up top I can have different configuration profiles. So all these settings I'm going to show you, you can set it up once for each pool if you go back and forth between different pools. And you can have these settings saved so you don't have to redo it each time. So here I have our facility and then the other facility we go to. When we run dual course, this would be the deep pool laptop, and when we run long course, this is the long course configuration. And I've just said System 5, System 6, it automatically detects the port. Another real nice thing about the updates that have been added to Streamline. I showed you this pool configuration tab here. Again, it's real nice. It automatically updates this little graphic down here so you can see where you're at. And what settings you're changing. Okay, this is the live data from the Meet Manager database. And again, that's just, I select the file here and I check that box and boom, we're running. Here's just where I give it the names of everything in OBS. So I told it what the scene names are and what the camera names are. And then down here is sort of where we get those more advanced graphics, okay? So we have a couple of things here. We have auto results. So let's see if I can give you an example of that. This is really nice. This is, actually, I can just continue this, race here. It's a 200 back, so I'll just skip ahead. All right, so they'll come into the finish. This is automatic finish results. This is another thing that happens totally automatically in Streamline. As soon as the timing system is reset, if I did check the box, which I'm sure I enabled it on this live stream, but let's take a look here. There we go. So this automatically comes up, and again, this is an example of finals race, so it's showing you that it's the C final, and it's showing that someone got their zone cut. So all the records that are loaded into your database can be shown or not onto your stream. And that's what it looks like. That's another completely automatic thing that happens. If I can find it here, sometimes we take, sometimes when there's a break, there are manual graphics as well. I'm going to take, yeah, I don't see it here. There are manual graphics that you can show as well, which I would like to show you because they're really cool. Let's see. Yep, we'll get an ad. Thank you, YouTube. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, here we go. So here's sorry, back up here. So here we are, we're in the middle of a session, and you can have it, you can go in and have it manually show these graphics. It will show the results of the finish of each event, and you can tell it what event you want to show. This is something that happened long ago in the meet that's already scored, and so we just have it showing each heat here, and probably after a few seconds I would probably have it switch and show the next couple of, actually let's skip ahead here. Yeah, there we go. So you can sort of see the animation there. I'll back up and let you watch that again. A little bit of an animation as it goes to the next heat. It can also show team scores. Might be real nice for a high school meet, something like that. Yeah. So I think that's it. I'll stick around if there's any more questions. And again, email me if you have questions. Let me go ahead and put that on the screen for you. I'll put my email on the screen right here. Well, probably would have been better if I left it white. There we go. So there it is. If you want to get set up with this software or any of the hardware, just contact me. I'm happy to get to help you with that. Please visit the website, sign up for the mailing list, and again, if you have any questions, mailing list, email address, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is, reach out to me, and I'm happy to get you set up. Go ahead and send me an email, and I'll get you links. Whatever you need, just send me an email. I'll get you links for any other things that you want. Yeah. All right, guys, I think that's the end of the stream. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. And if you do decide to go with this, contact me. And when you get it set up, send me a link to your stream so I